This is Kim Rowe with For the Nest, and this was one of my most fun projects that I have created. This was a piece by J.B. Van Sciver. It was an amazing furniture company back in the day from Camden, New Jersey, and they made beautiful ornate pieces that were made to be statement pieces in people's homes. So this piece sat in my garage for a little while because I knew I wanted to do it justice and really was trying to figure out what to use on this piece. And one day, this paper by Jonathan Mark Mendez of Painted Love hit me that I was thinking it would be the perfect combination. So here I am. What I did first was I painted the doors with a white paint because decoupaging, it's always important to have a white base if you want your paper to really show up nicely. So I measured the space that I was going to be covering, and now I'm going to be adhering this paper in the right spot. I will be using a decoupage medium by Paint Couture and putting on a light coat to start and then working my way down. The very top of the piece, it's important to get it aligned correctly because then as you move your way down, it will continue to be in the right spot. If you don't align it at the top, it's going to be a little crooked. So getting that aligned first is important. And I like to use a plastic wrap or cellophane to just get it smooth and spread the decoupage medium underneath. You could also use a brayer sometimes on a flat surface. This has a rounded break front, so the cellophane works well to spread that. Now what I do is I get that anchor piece up at the top, and then I'm going to add more medium and work my way down, again using the plastic wrap to just even it out and kind of get the wrinkles out as I go. This is a very flexible paper and I can maneuver it a little bit. Even though I've placed it down, you can relift it and sometimes readjust it if need be. One thing you want to make sure is you get enough of the medium on your edges so that they are all adhered well and that the contact with the piece of furniture has made enough contact with the paper so that it really will seal on there nicely. So one other tip is as you are adding your medium, you can overlap your last line that you did so that you make sure you have good coverage with the medium that you're using. So usually I will just kind of overlap where the last line that I added and then smooth it out lightly with the plastic wrap as I go. Once I had that side done, I continued on to the right side of the piece, doing the same process. And I also tried to get the pattern to somewhat match in the middle, even though it doesn't match exactly, but it does look like it comes together and flows nicely. So sometimes, almost like wallpaper, you try and get the images to work well where they connect. Sometimes I say to you, don't do as I do or do as I say. Do it the right way. And this is an example where I probably should have painted this piece first, but I was so excited about getting this paper on when I realized what I wanted to use. So typically you would paint your piece first, then do your white, and then do your paper, or you could do the white first, then the green paint, and then the paper, but I did it a little backwards. The color I'm using here is Avery by DIY Paint, Debbie's Design Diary paint. It is a clay-based paint, very pigmented, and it was the perfect match. I did try a couple different colors from other lines of paint, but this one just kept coming out to be the best match. So here you can see it is not dry yet, and I like to really let it totally dry for at least 24 hours before I put the top coat on. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to just seal the paper, and I'm using a matte top coat here, and I like this grip brush by Farmhouse Paint. It's very thin, and it will put very thin coats of your top coat on. Now it looks like it's cloudy here, but it really will dry perfectly clear, and this is a great top coat to finish off your decoupage with if you like a matte finish. And again, I'm waiting for the paint to dry, so I'm not going to put the top coat on the painted part, only the decoupage part. Here you'll see me do some little hash marks with the top coat. Again, I do this with paint as well, but it is sometimes helpful to get a really good coverage. So what I do is I take the paint or the top coat or whatever I'm using and go in one slight direction with small little hash marks, and then go up and down the other direction or side to side depending on what you're using or what the surfaces that you're painting on. But it just gives you a little bit of a better coverage and also gives you a nice smooth finish. So again, just adhere the medium with small hash marks and then go the opposite direction in wide strokes. So once that decoupage medium or the top coat is dry, I'm going to be adding the clear wax to the DIY paint. This is where the magic happens, and as you add your wax, the true color of the paint will be revealed. And so here you can see the deep richness of this paint as I add the clear wax. This is the DIY clear wax, and I'm adding this first. You'll see the next step where I'll be doing something a little more drastic. And I could leave it like this if I wanted to, but where all these details pop is when you add something as a contrast, and that's where we'll be adding the black wax next. Wax can be a little bit of a workout, so as I put the wax on, I buff it off with a shop towel. And here you can see I'm starting to add the black wax, and it looks a little scary at first, but because I put that clear wax on first, it will make it easier to remove some of the areas where I feel like maybe I have too much black wax, or if I want to do less in certain areas. But you add that in and wipe it back again with a shop towel, and continue using new shop towels or lint-free cloths as you go, so that you have the best fabric to really remove the amount of wax that you want to. Now, if there's an area where you get too much of that black wax, you can easily just take some clear wax, even if you put it on your cloth or on another brush, and you can wipe that black wax back with the clear wax. Now, that one area in the top there, I added a piece of iFlex molding, and it was not, I had to wait for that to dry. So I did not wax that part first. I waited for that to fully dry for 24 hours. So before you wax or before you top coat your DIY paint, it's best to wait 24 hours. The right door was just a little wobbly. It did not screw in where the hinge was very well. So basically what I figured out was that the holes for the screws had become too loose. And so what I'm doing here is taking some wood pate, which is by Farmhouse Paint, and I'm pressing it into the holes where the screws had originally gone, and that will harden just like a wood thickness and hardness, and then I will be able to re-screw the screws back into their right holes, and it'll hold much better. Once that was finished, I put the doors back on and waxed the piece where needed to have that molding finished, and it came out amazing, even more than I anticipated. You can see the grains of the wood in the top. The black wax just really accentuates that. If you've never tried clay-based paint, this Debbie's DIY paint is amazing, and it really is a true creative paint. You can really give old world look to your piece by using some of the waxes. I encourage you to try this. If you haven't decoupaged, try it, get something small, and just experiment. Happy creating, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to my page, I would appreciate it. Have a great day.